Hello, hello. It is the one and only 5D Transformations, and I'm here. And I wanted to touch on something regarding MBTI. This is an awesome topic. I want to talk very briefly about extroverted feeling. So now let's talk about extroverted feeling and what I really wanted to touch on, especially for not only the extroverted feeler types, but also the types that have extroverted thinking or introverted thinking, the types that don't use extroverted feeling as much, especially for the types out there that have extroverted thinking. So it's going to be your ENFPs, INFPs, INTJs, ENTJs, ESTJ, ISTJs, you know, and when it comes, and also the TI dominance, INTP, ISTP. I want to tell this to all those types, and just anybody listening. You have to understand the power of extroverted feeling. And me myself, I don't have extroverted feeling as one of my top four functions. So, I've always had a certain relationship with extroverted feeling. And when I say extroverted feeling, just to be clear, I mean it in the context of being able to communicate, connecting with people, valuing your communications and connections with people. Extroverted feeling is very people oriented. It's focused on how other people feel, how to create an effect on other people. And it's less focused on its own feelings. Because what you find is the more that you pay attention to how you feel and the more that you're concerned about how you feel and your internal dialogue and internal feelings and trying to manage yourself, you're spending less time paying attention to the people around you, paying attention to the environment. So what you notice is people with extroverted feeling, one of the ingredients that they have that makes them, so influential and the most influential types is that they spend extra time communicating with people, focused on other people and how other people feel in the environment. Now, how do you tap into that extroverted feeling when you might not use it as much, but you still want to be, have that influence or you still want to have that effect on people? Well, one thing you got to understand is people with extroverted feeling, one of the things that they have working for them that make them such good communicators is the repetition. They're constantly talking to people all the time. And the secret is this: you could be horrible at communication, but if you talk to enough people and if you practice communicating with people just by talking about regular things, just walking past somebody and saying, "Hey, do you know what time it is?" It's just all about being willing to communicate. And so the more that you do it, the better you get at it. And so the reason why extroverted feelers tend to be such great communicators compared to everyone else is that they're willing to take the risk, they're willing to talk. And so I think for a lot of the people out there, a lot of the time they can view extroverted feeling as small talk, as fluff, right? Uh, extroverted thinking dominant types, INTJs, ENTJs, ESTJs, like certain types, having to talk, and even introverted thinking dominant types, they can look at small talk as, or they can look at extroverted feeling as small talk. Oh, I have to talk about things that don't matter. There's types that really like to talk to people about things that they either share values on or getting things done. Like, what do we got to do? What do you need me to do? Otherwise, what are we talking for? Well, extroverted feeling, one thing that it understands is that when people communicate with you in a 10-second span, right? Let's say you talk to somebody for 30 seconds. In that 30 seconds, you might not be able to figure out everything about this person, obviously. I mean, you could talk to somebody for 5 years and not know everything about them, right? But in that 30 seconds, you should be able to come across with some kind of information, whether this person, you should know if this person can communicate, if they carry themselves professionally, if they carry themselves, comically, like if they're funny or if they're very serious. Like you can pick up on things through just small conversations. And what they realize is that, the more that you're able to create a lasting impression with someone or share a nice small talk conversation, the more trust and buy-in people can have with you. And that's why a lot of extroverted feeling dominant types get put into really good situations. And you got to understand, your network is your net worth. That's a classic line, but it's very true, especially today. The job market has been very tough for a lot of people. And I know people who have ascended to amazing positions in life just because somebody likes them, And what you'll find is in the corporate world, in the business world, it's all about likability. Look at politics. These skills are extroverted feeling skills. How do you communicate with people in a way to get them to trust you? And one of the key components that you have to understand about extroverted feeling, and I know it bothers a lot of the extroverted thinking types, but this is just the way of the world and you have to know how to adapt. And what you have to understand is that people don't necessarily always care about the facts. People more so care about how you made them feel. You know, when people have a conversation with you, they don't remember everything you told them specifically, but what they'll remember is the key point. And even beyond that, even if they forget that, they'll always remember how you made them feel. So you have to begin to understand how important small talk actually is. Small talk can change your life. You can have the right conversation with the right person and it'll change your world. And it's also aligned with your confidence. You know, people who are nervous to communicate, nervous to express themselves, people who aren't very good with small talk, they generally give off an energy of not being confident, not being certain in those moments. And you want to be able to own the moment when you're in an interview. You know, there's times in an interview where, you know, they ask the technical questions, you answer those, but then you might have a small talk after, like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, oh, you have a daughter. That's funny. You know, I just came back from a baby shower, or whatever. And next thing you know, you connect on their value, and the person now might hire you just because they're like, this person seems like a good person. So there's so much opportunity that exists when you're able to talk. And this is the last thing I'll say, especially in day-to-day life. Like, you know, you go to the local store, you go to get a haircut, you go to do this, you go to do that. These little talks you have with people allow them to trust you more. When you go into a bar or a restaurant and they go, hey, what's up? Hey, you know, that's all a part of the value, your status, how you present yourself in the world. And we all know people that shine in those moments, and we all know if we're the type that doesn't. But I'm here to tell you, you can improve. And I can tell you because I've improved. You know, I remember the days when I would get in the elevator and there's people in there and I feel awkward because I don't feel like talking. And somebody says something and I'm like, I feel nervous at first. I'm like, oh man, I don't feel like talking. But then, you know, we end up having a good convo and then I leave the elevator and I'm like, wow, that was actually pretty cool. Now I'm the guy that does that, right? Now when I'm in the elevator, I'm ready for anything, you know, or I might open a conversation. And just to give you all a tip on how you could tap more into your extroverted feeling, you have to tap into the curiosity first. You know, generally, whenever you're in an elevator or whenever you're in a space, you know, you see somebody and there's a thought that pops in your head. And this also is connected with introverted thinking, which is that first thought. And it's funny because introverted thinking and extroverted feeling, they pair together. So for those of you that want to tap more into extroverted feeling, you have to go with your first thought. When you're in the elevator, you think something like, "Oh, that's a cool shirt they got on." Don't hold it in. That's where a lot of the introverted feelers and other people mess up. They want to hold that in. And what you got to do is say, "Hey, you know, I like your sweater." And what you'll find is the person will appreciate that. They'll reciprocate it out that easily. You're opening conversation. So practice saying the first thing that comes to your mind, as long as there's nothing off the wall, of course, right? We want to be respectful, but you know, be the things that pop up in your head, the things that you're curious about, the things about people that capture your attention. Bring it up. And what you'll begin to notice is you're creating opportunities for yourself. This is a major, major secret. Do not take this lightly. Like I've discovered this through deep, deep study and practice of MBTI. Nobody told me this, what I'm telling you. To tap more into your extroverted feeling, you have to tap into your introverted thinking. You have to go with whatever comes to your thought and express it. And people will appreciate that. Even if you don't say the perfect thing, it still just allows the environment to move around and shake, and it allows your presence to be felt. So, you know, that's my message to you all. I'm telling you, extroverted feeling is a gift. And let me tell you, all of you extroverted feelers out there, man, I know you guys know this is a superpower. I know you do. So I'm kind of spreading this is a superpower. You really can get people to buy in and support you, not by having to explain all the facts and jump over, uh, you know, what do you call it, ropes or whatever the heck. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to get in a marathon to get people. One little observation that you notice in the elevator, when you see somebody walking by in a grocery store, you say something that pops in your head, and boom, that's how it happens. So that's my video for you all. Make sure to like and subscribe, spread the word. We're trying to build the channel, trying to build the subscribers so I can start doing live streams. And I'm excited. I got a lot of stuff for you. Also, make sure to get the MBTI course. It's now available on 5dtransformations.com. So make sure to get that. And I will see you in the next video. As always,